In Japan, it's common for diesel vehicles to cross the half-million-mile mark and keep running with quiet confidence. Meanwhile, in the US and Europe, most diesels start breaking down before they even reach 200,000 miles. But the real difference isn't in engineering, materials, or brand names, it's in philosophy. Japanese drivers and fleet operators have built a culture of maintenance that treats diesel engines not as disposable machines, but as finely tuned instruments of precision. These aren't secret techniques or expensive treatments. They're methodical habits born from patience, observation, and respect for machinery. When you understand how the Japanese think about maintenance, you begin to see why their engines last decades longer than others. And stay with me until the end, because the final Japanese principle completely changes how you think about diesel ownership, and it might be the single factor separating a 200,000-mile engine from a 500,000-mile legend. Let's begin with the foundation, the principle that underlies everything else. Secret number 1, Kaizen, continuous refinement. The word Kaizen means continuous improvement through small steps. It's one of the core principles of Japanese industry and culture. In diesel maintenance, Kaizen means constantly refining your process, learning from every observation, every oil change, every sound your engine makes. Japanese diesel operators don't treat maintenance schedules as commandments. They treat them as starting points. They record everything: fuel economy, oil color, performance shifts, cold starts, and look for patterns. Maybe the manual recommends changing oil every 10,000 miles, but their records show that at 7,500 miles, performance improves and wear decreases. So they make the change. Then they watch, measure, and adjust again. It's not guesswork, it's deliberate refinement. Over time, each adjustment brings the system closer to perfection. They might find that a certain brand of fuel burns cleaner, or that a specific warm-up method reduces soot buildup. Each discovery, no matter how small, adds up. Kaizen teaches that maintenance isn't static. It's alive. It evolves with every experience, turning ordinary drivers into masters of mechanical awareness. Secret number 2, preventative replacement over reactive repair. In much of the world, people repair things after they break. In Japan, they replace things before they do. This mindset is the backbone of their diesel longevity. Japanese fleet operators replace components at 70 to 80% of their lifespan, not because they've failed, but because they're about to. A timing belt, a hose, a bearing, each part is replaced early before it can trigger a cascade of damage. They know that the cost of a single failure can be far greater than the cost of regular planned replacements. A broken belt can destroy an engine. A clogged filter can wear down injectors. A small crack can lead to overheating and warped metal. Even fluids follow this rule. Coolant is changed before it loses its protective properties. Brake fluid is refreshed before it absorbs too much moisture. Transmission oil is replaced while it's still strong enough to protect. Yes, this approach costs a little more in the short term, but it saves exponentially more over the life of the vehicle. Preventative replacement isn't about avoiding problems, it's about eliminating the possibility of them entirely.
Secret number 3, omotenashi, thoughtful attention to detail. Omotenashi is a word often used to describe Japanese hospitality, the art of anticipating needs and delivering perfect service. In maintenance, it means the same thing, a meticulous attention to detail that prevents problems before they exist. Every service session is more than a checklist. Japanese operators use the time to examine, clean, and understand their machines. Battery terminals are cleaned until they shine. Wiring harnesses are inspected for wear. Exhaust mounts are checked for looseness. Protective covers are secured. They don't just replace parts, they restore condition. And they document everything, sometimes photographing components to track wear, corrosion, or buildup. Omotenashi means treating every service as an opportunity to improve the vehicle, not merely maintain it. These small acts, repeated hundreds of times, lead to astonishing long-term reliability. It's not luck, it's deliberate care. Secret number 4, Gemba, knowing the real-world conditions. Gemba means the actual place, and in this context, it means understanding the true environment in which your diesel operates. Japanese operators don't assume their conditions match what's printed in the owner's manual. They study how their vehicles are really used, how long they idle, how heavily they're loaded, how steep the terrain is, how humid or dusty their environment might be. A delivery van that stops every 5 minutes in Tokyo traffic will need very different care from a truck cruising highways in Hokkaido. A car in a cold climate faces different challenges than one in tropical humidity. By understanding the real operating environment, they fine-tune maintenance schedules, oil types, and replacement intervals. Gemba reminds us that every diesel engine lives a unique life, and only when you understand that life can you give it the care it truly needs. Secret number 5. Poka-yoke. Eliminating mistakes through system. Poka-yoke is the Japanese concept of mistake-proofing, designing systems that make human error impossible. Applied to maintenance, it means building habits and procedures that guarantee precision. Fluids are stored in color-coded containers so coolant never gets confused with brake fluid. Torque-limiting tools prevent over-tightening. Step-by-step checklists ensure every task is done correctly and nothing is missed. Even their record-keeping systems follow Poka-yoke logic. Every maintenance action is logged, verified, and scheduled for review. Nothing slips through the cracks. This is maintenance as process engineering, ensuring consistency not through memory but through structure. When you remove the possibility of error, quality becomes automatic. Secret number 6. Shokunin, the craftsman's dedication to excellence. Shokunin describes a person who takes deep pride in their craft, a master who pursues perfection not for recognition, but out of respect for the work itself. In Japan, diesel maintenance is seen as craftsmanship. Mechanics and operators treat every service as a performance, one that deserves patience, precision, and skill. They never rush. They never settle for good enough. The goal is not just to complete the task, but to execute it flawlessly. Tools are chosen for quality, workspaces are kept spotless, and even the smallest step is done with care. The Shokunin spirit transforms simple mechanical work into something much more meaningful. It's a mindset that values doing things the right way every time, because anything less would disrespect the craft. And it shows in the results. Vehicles maintained with the Shokunin spirit don't just serve.
Secret number 7. Mottai nai. Respect for resources. Mottai nai is a word that expresses regret over waste. It's about gratitude for what you have and a commitment to use it fully. In maintenance, it means maximizing the life and usefulness of every resource, every drop of oil, every filter, every part. Japanese operators don't change oil by mileage alone. They test it. If it's still clean and protective, they extend its use. If it's degrading early due to harsh conditions, they shorten the interval. The point is not to follow rules blindly, but to make informed, efficient decisions. Mottai nai also applies to driving itself. Gentle acceleration, optimized routes, and balanced loads all reduce stress on the engine and save fuel. This principle isn't just mechanical, it's philosophical. It teaches respect for the machine and the materials that sustain it. Waste nothing, value everything. The final secret, ikigai, purpose in the process. Ikigai is the Japanese idea of reason for being. It's the feeling of purpose that comes from doing something meaningful. For Japanese diesel owners, maintenance isn't a chore. It's a practice of purpose. Each service is a chance to contribute to something that endures. They see their vehicles as long-term partners, not disposable tools. This perspective transforms everything. Instead of minimizing costs, they maximize value. Instead of thinking in months, they think in decades. They take pride in every perfectly executed service, every clean oil change, every precise torque. Each milestone, 100,000, 300,000, 500,000 miles, is a celebration of dedication, patience, and purpose. Ikigai turns maintenance into something greater than mechanical care. It becomes an expression of gratitude, responsibility, and pride. And when you care for your machine with that mindset, it will repay you with loyalty that lasts a lifetime. The Japanese approach to diesel maintenance is not about working harder, it's about working smarter, with attention, discipline, and respect. It's about transforming routine care into an ongoing relationship between human and machine. That's why Japanese diesels live longer. Their secret isn't found in a workshop, it's found in a philosophy.